Thunder roared deep and loud, echoing out over the ocean. Most of the passengers on board ship had scurried to their cabins long before the storm had hit, but Elise and Wilson stayed on deck, watching as the lightning cracked the sky, shuddering as the thunder rumbled overhead. They were young, in love, and every minute of their adventure was precious to them both, though it was clear that Elise was more excited about traveling aboard this vast ship than her new husband. Wilson had always taken sea voyages for granted. As an American, he seemed to think the entire world was open to him. As a young man, fresh from the very best schools and universities America had to offer, he had traveled to Europe on his own grand tour. Wilson had seen the marvels of Greece and Spain, and he rhapsodized constantly about the beauty and sophistication of Paris. He promised Elise over and over that he would take her there too, and she prayed he had meant it. She could think of nothing more exciting than traveling to far-flung shores to see the many wonders of the world. Rain pasted Elise's hair to her face. She shivered and looked down at the new cream gown he had purchased for her in a flurry of post-wedding extravagance. He had proudly escorted her to many elegant stores, of the kind she would never have dared to enter without him by her side. To be so spoiled, and now to possess so many beautiful things, had made her feel overwhelmed, cherished, and utterly bewildered in equal measure. The delicate silk of the bodice molded itself to her slender curves, and she was sure she must look positively indecent, but she did not care. Nothing could ruin this moment, nor the wonderful future that lay ahead of her with Wilson. She turned to her new husband and grinned, feeling utterly alive and reckless in a way she had never known before. "You, my dear wife, are quite mad," Wilson exclaimed, as she raised her arms above her head, as if to embrace the entire ocean. She had not had much joy in her short life, and these past weeks, spent with him, had been a blessing she could never have even imagined happening to her. He had swept her off her feet, made her feel cherished and adored, and then he had vowed that she would be his until death might part them. "No, my darling, I am not moonstruck," she assured him. "Maybe more than a touch love-struck. I'm just happier than I've ever been, and it's thanks to you." She leant towards him and kissed him passionately, taking his handsome face between her wet palms. He put his arms around her and pulled her tightly against his warm, strong body. "I have never been on a boat so big and so luxurious before. It is very exciting, and had anyone told me I would be doing so even a week ago, I would never have believed them." He smiled down at her indulgently and moved to push the wet strands of hair that had escaped their pins back from her face. "It was all a bit of a whirlwind romance, was it not? I'm still not sure I was quite myself when I asked you to be my bride. I think you must have hexed me or some such. I am clearly bewitched," he teased. "I am so very sorry I did not answer you for so long, but it was such a surprise," she admitted, and blushed as she remembered the romance of that special evening, the elegant theater and the wonderful play he had taken her to see, the delightful supper, and his buying her champagne. Tipsy on the bubbles, they had giggled uncontrollably, and then suddenly Wilson had been on one knee, asking for her hand. "You might maybe have done something other than snort in derision at my proposal," he said, his eyes sparkling. Her face fell a little, and she felt abashed. He would never let her forget that the most romantic moment of her life had been ruined by her own reaction. "I told you I did not mean to. The bubbles got up my nose, and it was all so sudden. You would have snorted too," she said indignantly.